Similar pawn structure to what we've seen. And we were just talking about this move e6, right? So it's starting to look a lot like a French, even though it came from a very strange move order. Now, it's white to play, and black is offering an exchange. They even wasted a move to play bishop a6. They played bishop c8 to b7 to a6. The question is, should we exchange for that bishop? Keeping in mind that it's the bad bishop for black. These pawns are all on light squares, so this bishop's long-term future is pretty dim. Yeah, it is very active on a6, so we can't lose our objectivity, I think. But 66 says definitely don't take on a6. So, seems like we're polarized here. Anyone want to break the tie? So, some people are saying we should... Well, it's active on a6, which implies maybe you want to get rid of it. But 66 says definitely don't take it. What should it be? Maybe we could consider a few more factors here. So first off, this bishop is active on a6. It has one active square, and that's where it is right now. Also, in this pawn structure, usually this bishop is really important for attacking on the king side. So without it, they could castle safely to the king side. 66 is saying that a knight on a6 would be pretty lame, and I think that's a fair assessment. So the concrete details about where their pieces are going to end up, they really matter too. You might argue that the knight from a6 wants to go to c7, and then that's pretty good, but I also think that it's going to be stunted by its own pawns when it reaches there. So the knight on a6 is going to be pretty trash. Probably it's going to have to go back to b8, like on the next move. I made a video about candidate moves recently. Do we have any moves except for bishop takes a6? Like, what else is worth considering here? Alright, so bishop g5. Actually, bishop g5 is an interesting move. I didn't really consider that here. Bishop g5 is actually offering another exchange. You're kind of upping the ante here. So, I think after bishop g5, they would play bishop e7. This would help their maybe space problem. Yeah, we can't play knight d2, so that doesn't really impact things. If we play knight d2, they'll play bishop d3. Definitely a problem. So, final verdict, guys. Even if you're wrong, you're going to be in good company. In this game, the person playing white blundered hideously. Alright, trade. Cool. Yeah, I think you guys were starting to consider some pretty anxiety-inducing moves like bishop g5. I think it's better to take. But guess what? The grandmaster playing white... let me see. Who was it? I remember that Gelashvili was with black because he showed me this game. Alright, Esserman was playing white, and this game was in, what year was it? 2013, not too long ago. And Esserman played bishop c2. Knight a3 I would not really consider. It just doesn't make sense to put your knight on a3 any more than it makes sense for them to put their knight on a6. The knight really should go to like d2 and then f1, then g3 or something similar. But they play bishop c2. And this is actually a hideous blunder. The way that they lost the game was spectacular, so I'm going to show you the game. But let's talk about bishop a6 first. This move is unpleasant because the bishop from d3 is really good for attacking on h7 and things like that. But after knight takes a6, queen a4, black's position looks pretty awkward. I think they're forced to play either knight b8 in one shot or queen c8. I can't really tell which one's better. Let's see. I'm guessing you should play knight a6 to b8 actually. Just because you're going to have to do it anyway. Knight c7 is too depressing. So I think it's knight b8. And this position is maybe uncomfortable for black, but they have something to look forward to because this bishop from d3 is gone. Yeah, and the French defense has this reputation for being entirely surrounding the problem of the light square bishop. So these openings where you have a bad minor piece, they're often very strategic because we have to do a lot of maneuvering and all kinds of stuff just to try to exchange whatever pieces are bad for us. But you know, in my experience, the light square bishop is maybe misunderstood in the French. But anyway, they played bishop c2, and things got really dark after this because... So first Gelashvili just completed his development in a normal way. And then he played g5. This move is outstanding. And it shows a good understanding of the position. Basically, he's saying that the position's blocked, your pieces are passive, it's time to attack. And so he went for g5. And this forced white to play g4 in order to avoid sudden death. And after h5, everything just kind of came crashing down. And this was all a product of the move bishop c2. Notice how this bishop is preventing moves like queen e2, rook e2, bishop d3. Almost no good moves can be played by white. They're reduced to passivity. Even if your position is better, according to the theory of chess, if you don't have a plan, you're in a lot of danger. So after these moves, you start with rook c8. I remember this was a critical moment of the game. I think that you could also play like knight f8 or something, but this move passes the turn very uncomfortably to white, and it's eyeing the bishop on c2, which turned out to be kind of important. So they were forced to play this move, bishop to b1. I think the reason they were forced is that if they play something like knight g3, we are going to see, I think it was pawn takes d4. I haven't looked at this game in a long time, so forgive me if I'm not precise. And let me see, some knight move, something like knight a5. And black is invading on the queen side now. I don't think they have a very comfortable way of defending this bishop. So they play bishop b1. And after this timely exchange, Gelashvili sacrificed to open the position and checkmate. So after pawn takes, knight takes, they played king g2. They obviously can't play bishop f4, the square's under attack. If they play knight e5, this is just encouraging queen h2. So they would have to do something really drastic here. It's pretty much game over. So they play king g2. And I think if they play queen f3, there's some tactical problems, like... Forgive me for being a little bit slow, I just haven't seen this in a while. I think they were trying to run with their king into the center because of something like king d7 and bringing both rooks to the king side, but I don't remember. And their run was very short. I think they resigned here. Rook d4 is on the board. So this was a crazy thing. There was no mate on h2 as far as I know, guys. But there was a threat. Oh, queen f3, queen h2, you're right. Sorry about that. Definitely it's me.